so we're going to get back into it now. We've obviously just heard from the personalization and AI with Paul from Nosto. And again, we're just back into it, bringing you the top of the line innovators and e-commerce experts. We are going to kick into the next part of the stack, which is a PIM, Product Information Management Technologies. And Akeneo is in the mix today. We're thrilled to have them part of the event. These guys are a global leader in product experience management solutions. They help merchants and brands to deliver a compelling customer experience across all of their sales channels. I'm talking e-commerce, mobile, print, retail, points of sale, everything. So Akeneo's open source enterprise PIM and their product data intelligence solutions, they dramatically improve product data quality and, of course, accuracy while simplifying and accelerating product catalog management. They've got leading global brands that they boast, such as Sephora, Fossil, and Shop.com. They all trust their solutions to scale and customize their omni-channel and cross-border commerce initiatives. Right now, I would like to introduce you to Rodger Yasmine, the Sales Director of Strategic Accounts for APAC at Akeneo. This chat right now, it's about first product experience, how product experiences drive your retail growth strategy. Companies have to move fast on key projects when it comes to their roadmap in order for them to unlock growth. So if they want to future-proof their business, they need to continue on that path to digital transformation and sell on more channels to be in more markets. But before you move forward with those commerce projects, these companies need to know where they stand and how they can mature to develop outstanding product experiences at scale. They should check their PX before they wreck their CX. Thank you so much for joining us today, Rodger. Over to you.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Raven, for that. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session with Akeneo as part of the fantastic Overdose Composable Commerce Summit. It's obviously great to be part of this event. Super excited to be here and awesome to see such a strong turnout today. More specifically, welcome to this particular session titled, But First, Product Experience, where we'll discover how product experience drives your retail growth strategy. Just a quick reminder before we go on, please feel free to ask any questions via the Q&A function on the Skooks platform. So a little bit about myself. As Raven mentioned, my name is Rodger Yasmine. I'm the Sales Director for APAC with Akeneo, based here in Sydney, Australia. And I've been with Akeneo now for just over a year, having come from the data integration and analytics space previously. What I've seen since joining the Akeneo team through the many conversations I've had with customers and prospects across the region is that, companies really need to move fast on key projects in their roadmap in order to unlock growth, in order to future-proof their business, in order to continue on the path to digital transformation and be able to sell on more channels and in more markets. But before moving forward with their commerce projects, these companies should know where they stand and how they can mature to deliver outstanding product experiences at scale. And this is now where most organizations are finding their competitive advantage. At Akeneo, we say that companies should check their PX before they wreck their CX. And what we mean by this is that companies need to be delivering great product experiences or risk negatively impacting the overall customer experience. Composable commerce architectures, including headless commerce and headless content management systems, really promise to bring faster innovation to commerce businesses. These architectures provide a modular, best-of-breed approach to the commerce technology stack, using decoupled packaged business capabilities. They promise to deliver new and sophisticated front-facing capabilities and back-office integrations that can be implemented within weeks, not months or years, as we traditionally see. Businesses can now be better prepared to address the ever-evolving needs of their customers and have greater control over the shopping experience, no matter whether they're or how they wish to discover, browse, and purchase products. The recommended first step to take before replatforming to a composable commerce architecture is to really get that underlying product data and content ready for that migration. A product information management or PIM solution should come first. Product information is the major category to start working on in order to have a complete consistently presented, well-structured, and compelling product presence across all of your sales channels. Whether we're talking about e-commerce, marketplaces, mobile applications, social media, and whatever the future might bring. This is ultimately ensure that your commerce replatforming strategy runs smoothly and in most cases quicker as well. Today, we'll explore how a new generation of retailers have been able to reject the price war, selling their products at a premium compared to their competitors. This new generation of retailers are winning sales and loyalty through hyper-personalized and superior product experiences. So hardly a day passes without some headline somewhere in the world declaring that the retail industry is collapsing. It's completely falling apart. Well-known brands are turning out the lights for the very last time in thousands of their stores. As a result, hundreds and thousands of their employees are being put out of work, are declared unemployed. Effectively, online shopping is eating the physical retail's lunch, and there's no real end in sight, right? Since the end of 2010, in the aftermath of the Great Recession, and for 8 years straight, more new stores have opened globally than those that have closed. Business must be bad, right? Well, not quite. Preliminary estimates show that retail industry sales rose a healthy 4.6% last year, and are forecast to grow almost as much this year, according to the National Retail Federation. That's some major apocalypse. More stores, more sales. Doesn't sound like an apocalypse to me. The question of whether there is going to be a retail apocalypse is irrelevant, really. It's actually already happened. Things changed forever in March 2020 when, with the onset of COVID pandemic. Buying behaviors have changed, and they will continue to change in the long term due to this once-in-a-100-year event. Now, I'm sure as consumers, all of us by now have tried to purchase products online since the onset of the COVID pandemic. Even those of us that have never purchased online before. We've all tried and have been forced to adapt, and will continue to do this moving forward with the proliferation of new and emerging digital sales channels. Really, to deny the existence of this transformation is to cling desperately to a world that no longer exists. Like it or not, the pandemic has changed the way that brands, retailers, and manufacturers alike operate forever. Those who don't adapt and adopt this new paradigm shift will be left behind in a post-apocalyptic existence, lost in the woods, and this is true for both businesses as well as their consumers. For those just jumping on now, don't worry, you can see the full recording of this session and all the other fantastic sessions on the Overdose website in the coming days. So what will the retail of tomorrow look like? Amazon, for example, has sometimes been spoken of as being both one of the scourges heralding this apocalypse, as well as being a real success in terms of really understanding and capitalizing on the evolution of retail. It'd be tempting to dissect the Amazon business model to understand what it was that allowed them to get through this so-called apocalypse. But Amazon is a mammoth, well-oiled machine, and as impressive and agile as it is, it's highly unlikely that this is where the retail of tomorrow will be created. I found it really interesting to look at one company category in particular that is known to be customer-centric, DNVBs, or digital native vertical brands. I guess some of these brands, even though they are relatively young, are potentially familiar to you. I know my wife, who loves online shopping, has made these particular brands very familiar to myself. One thing that they all have in common is that they don't just offer products. They first offer a community and an experience. Thinking about the last example with Amazon, clicking a mouse on Amazon is not really an experience, right? And so my thesis here is that there is no such thing as a good customer experience without a compelling product experience. It's really the mantra that has guided us at Akeneo as we think about the importance of product information to any business that sells anything. A prominent topic that we hear about quite often in recent years is about how to improve the customer experience. But what does someone go through in order to become a customer in the first place? Well, it starts with a web search for the product that they're interested in purchasing. And then buyers interact with your product information on your websites and in your product catalogs or in your marketplace listings and so on. And so the quality and the completeness of that information is critical. So too are the digital assets that you share at these touch points. These being things like, the imagery, the videos, the documentation, and so on. And it's really the sum of this information and the way it's presented that helps buyers make an informed purchase decision from your organization. This whole interaction is what we call product experience. It's the great product experiences that allow you to deliver an overall great customer experience. Over the last decade, digital native vertical brand companies that build, market, sell, and ship their products without using third party, those like the brands that are shown here, have not only changed how customers buy products, but have also carved a successful niche away from traditional retailing and the Amazon marketplace, of course. As a result, recent years have been very, very tough for physical retail. Saying this, the brick and mortar store concept is still very much alive and kicking, and we now see DNVB companies embracing physical retail spaces. There's a common thread across the DNVB companies. They're all relied on three core concepts. The first is leveraging data and technology. A DNVB company is a brand born online with a strong focus on the customer experience and total control of its own distribution. These brands have come to life because of platforms like Google and Instagram or TikTok, YouTube and Snapchat, to name a few. And without these platforms, really these brands would never have existed. One example shown here is Scentbird, a DNVB selling sample designer fragrances on subscription. Scentbird could not have existed a mere 10 years ago, but today the company leverages tech platforms to communicate, to sell and manage its inventory, and along with a lot more capability as well. The founder of Scentbird, Sergey Gusev, wanted to find influencers with large online followings and began searching for perfume reviews on YouTube, where ultimately he reached out to influencers to review his brand in exchange for free products. His strategy paid off, and he sold over 100 products in less than 3 days as a direct result. The second common thread is in-person interactions. DNVBs may start their journey online, but they often extend to physical stores, not necessarily to increase sales, but rather to build deeper relationships and brand loyalty with their customers. Therefore, DNVB companies are focusing on making their brick and mortar stores a destination where customers can meet with their friends, with their family, maybe enjoy a coffee or even meditate in a relaxing meditation room. The goal of the destination concept is to spend time interacting with customers instead of just getting them in and out of the store with a purchase. Now, as companies like Everlane make it easier to buy what we want and need online, the primary purpose of brick and mortar stores is indeed changing. Everlane has held a number of pop-ups in Los Angeles over the years, all fulfilling specific needs. There was a denim pop-up, for example, when the brand entered into the denim category. A Tread by Everlane concept shop to introduce the brand's first sneaker. And there was also a holiday pop-up at the Grove for giftable leather accessories. After 8 years, they opened up their first permanent spot in LA, then in New York, and now in San Francisco. Allbirds is another DNVB that has taken the same approach as both Scentbird and Everlane as well. And they're now reaping the rewards of taking this approach. The third and final common thread across the DNVB companies is user-generated content to cut customer acquisition cost. DNVBs embrace consumer-centric dialogue. Their social media feeds, if you have a read of those, they seem to be more like a group of friends sharing tips and engaging in conversation. And from this, content is generated by the users. For example, with Glossier and Sleeper's brand building strategies lie in their reliance on user-generated content, video, social media shares, and other content volunteered or generated by their devoted online community. This benefits DNVB companies in two ways. Firstly, when customers have a great brand experience, They naturally rave about the brand and share their experiences with their friends and relatives. We all know that referrals are one of the most cost-efficient ways of increasing a customer base. And when a customer recommends a brand in their own words and using their own imagery and pictures, the message comes across a lot more authentically and less salesy. This is what makes brands like Food 52 and Floyd real customer winners. Secondly, these brands have worked out a way to extend customer lifetime value and avoid high churn rates. The secret sauce being that they retain more of their existing customers by co-creating products through the consistent communication and engagement. So, what can we learn from these inspiring customer stories? Well, they succeed in creating a winning balance between both content and commerce. While we're on the topic of content, we know that 52% of consumers would be willing to pay more for the same product with clear information about the brand's values. That's a significant number if you think about it. And therefore, it's critical that companies care about their product information and the way they deliver this to their customers. They need to ensure that the content is accurate, is comprehensive, it's emotion invoking and contextualized to both their sales channels as well as their geographical markets. That's exactly what product experience management is. It's the art and science of bringing together people, process, and technology to efficiently deliver high-quality product information in the right context, adapted to channel and locale, all orchestrated to support any business growth strategy. A Forrester report published in 2020, highlighting the 7 driver categories of the quality of customer experience, stated that the product experience you offer has the most impact on the brand's overall customer experience index score. And therefore, PIM and Pxm matter and should be seen as foundational for any commerce strategy, regardless of whether we're talking about online or offline commerce. That's why at Akeneo we say that product experience unlocks growth. Product experience management supports all business growth strategies, helping organizations improve their bottom line. Sell faster and improve your time to market by automating repetitive enrichment activities and tasks. Improve the way you ingest data from your suppliers with a purpose-built portal that allows suppliers to self-serve. And integrate seamlessly with both upstream and downstream systems like ERPs and digital asset management systems or PLM systems and so on. Sell better and improve product performance on a per-channel basis by ensuring that your product information is consistent across all channels, yet adapted to meet the needs of each. Deliver accurate and comprehensive content to your customers and help them make informed purchase decisions, which are ultimately going to improve sales conversion, while at the same time reduce return rates. Protect your brand's identity by improving the quality of the content that you deliver to your customers across all touch points. And of course, sell anywhere and be prepared to take on new channels and geographies to facilitate cross-border commerce initiatives. It sounds very straightforward, but you'd be surprised, I think, to find that many organizations of all sizes across a broad set of industries still struggle with outdated processes and procedures when it comes to managing product information. As a result, they fail to sell faster, sell better, and sell anywhere. And whether they like to admit it or not, this is putting a serious dent on their ability to gain competitive advantage. And this, of course, impacts their bottom line. Some key recommendations to enhance your product experience are, firstly, think omni-channel and not digital only. While consumers are increasingly shopping via online and digital channels, it's important to remember that we're still living in an omni-channel world, not a digital-only one. Many customers and consumers still make purchases from brick-and-mortar stores, and that's why it's crucial to remember to start by building a great product experience and then apply that experience to all of your sales channels, not the other way around. Secondly, value matters. Consumers care about the ethics and values of the brands that they purchase from. So make sure that you communicate your brand values clearly and effectively in product information and display them prominently on all of your sales channels to let your consumers know where you stand. Finally, the biggest takeaway comes from a 2021 B2C survey, and that is investment or lack thereof in your product information can have a major impact on your bottom line. That's why you need to make sure that you prioritize your product information and product experience processes so you can be certain that you're providing accurate, consistent information to consumers with dynamic and exciting product experience across a wide range of channels. If you're interested to learn where you stand today in terms of Pxm maturity, simply visit the Akeneo website and spend a few minutes completing the Pxm Maturity Assessment. This is made up of 14 questions that will help you understand your product experience strengths and weaknesses so that you can identify gaps that need to be addressed. From this, you get a personalized report that compares your responses to others against people, process, and technology benchmarks and provides some suggestions on how you can improve your Pxm maturity. Of course, if you have any questions or would like to learn more, please don't hesitate to reach out. Come and visit us at the Akeneo virtual booth at this event for a chat. With that, thank you so much for joining this session. I hope you enjoy the rest of the session during the Overdose Composable Commerce Summit. I'm happy to take any questions.
Fantastic. Yes, we do have some questions here for you, Rodger. Is Akeneo compatible with the composable commerce approach?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Akeneo is considered a best-of-breed PIM platform, and as such, a composable component of the overall composable commerce architecture, offering an API-first approach to integration with other parts of the ecosystem, whether we're talking about downstream systems or upstream systems, ERPs, DAMs, PLMs, e-commerce, content management, and so on.
And what e-commerce platforms can Akeneo actually integrate with?
Yeah, look, today we have pre-built connectors that we own, we maintain, and we support for Adobe Commerce Cloud, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, as well as BigCommerce. And we continue to churn out these connectors, so definitely keep an eye on this space. We're fortunate to have a partner community that's also creating connectors for platforms like Shopify, as well as other e-com solutions and CMS solutions. More information for these can be found on the Akeneo marketplace or at marketplace.akeneo.com.
Cool. What are the key consequences of doing commerce before PIM?
Okay, that's a complicated one, but look, it's a great question, and I guess the analogy that comes to mind straight up is that you can't build a roof on a home structure without the foundation, right? What we've seen is that PIM is not done first, then the product information is maintained in the back end of an e-commerce solution, which obviously is not a sustainable approach to managing product info. E-commerce solutions are not really designed to manage the content, nor can they scale and allow the different personas to enrich content that they need to enrich. It's just not intuitive enough for them. But above this, duplication of effort that happens when you take this approach means that you need to come back when you do finally decide to invest in a PIM and rebuild the product model and the category structures and everything else that you need to build. Another consequence is that if product information is managed in the back end of an e-commerce solution, it's only going to be available to that e-commerce platform. It's not going to be able to serve any other sales channels.
Right. Can you share with us who some of your customers are in the APAC region as it stands now?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I was going to actually include a few slides on that, but I didn't want to go there. But look, just to name a few, we've got Maya, Big Red Group, Auckland Airport, Singapore Airlines, Winning Group, Forever New, and the list goes on, and it continues to grow in this region.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Rodger. It's been a privilege.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Raven. Have a good day, everyone.